Hey guys, how's it going? This is episode 5 of the Meta Meltdown. Today is Wednesday, June 15, 2016. The Meta Meltdown is a weekly 20-minute podcast about the current meta in Hearthstone. Each week we'll focus on a specific deck. This week we'll focus on JustSaiyan's Midrange Hunter, and we'll provide you on our insights on how to pad the deck in order to succeed on the ladder. My name is Dominic Silverddragn Nguyen. That's Silverddragn with 2 D's, no O. I have here, of course, my co-host, Nate Wolter, aka Natediggity. How's it going, buddy?
It's going great, Dom. How are you doing?
Doing really well. Thanks for asking, man. And actually, if you're on Twitch or YouTube, you'll notice that we have a guest this time. JBillyB. How's it going?
Hey, everyone. Nice to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, introductions of guests. JBillyB, or I can call you Billy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, tell everyone about your Hearthstone career thus far.
So, I've been playing since, the open beta. I played card games since I was, a little kid, but I, was always, very casual. I hardly ever had a lot of time to play, but I started playing in a lot more tournaments lately, and my uncle lives in Austin, so I went to DreamHack and thought it would be kind of a fun family trip. Ended up doing really well there. And so after top 4ing DreamHack, I ended up joining a Smite team that was looking to start a Hearthstone team, Team Eager. And so now I've been playing in a lot of tournaments for them, and I'm trying to qualify for the summer prelims.
Very cool. And you actually got close to top 100, if I'm not mistaken, in the last season.
Yeah, I was playing a lot of ladder. I don't know, just getting to legend is something I tried to do in a lot of seasons where I have enough time to play. But I really tried to push for top 100 this last season, and fell just short at the last minute, at 144. But here's something for the next one.
Yeah, for sure. No worries. You have to invest a lot of hours to get to legend. I'm sure there's a lot of players who are good enough to get to legend, but just don't have the time for it. So the fact that you're good enough and have the time for it is a huge accomplishment. But yeah.
Well, I was lucky I was actually playing the deck that we're going to be talking about tonight. Midrange Hunter was my deck of choice for the entire push, so I got in a lot of games with it.
Oh, excellent. Good. We'll have you as an expert for our Hunter. So yeah, so just to break down for this week's episode, we'll talk about personal Hearthstone news, like JBillyB has already done for a little bit. We'll go into the meta report, and then we'll talk about our mid-range Hunter. So, like you said, we'll start with JBillyB. Discuss decks we've played. So did you just play Hunter, or did you switch between a couple decks, or some other stuff?
I played a lot of kind of hybrid shaman. I was messing around with a lot of shaman lists. But then I started losing a lot of games and feeling kind of insecure about I felt like I was just misplaying all the time. So then I also was kind of raging about playing against warriors, which made me switch over to Hunter. Which was suddenly such a good counter against warriors that it didn't really matter that you weren't exactly a favorite against Zoo or Shaman, which were still all over. And then I probably played about 100, 150 games over a week-long span with Hunter, just ranking up with it.
Got it. No worries. Nate, what about you, man?
I obviously played Midrange Hunter, and then I was experimenting with a lot of stuff, but I eventually fell back to Elise Control Warrior, and I also tried some Zoolock as well from last week. So
sounds good. No worries.
What about you?
Yeah, as for myself, I was playing the Midrange Hunter list. I was just finagling with that. I was really tempted to switch over to Midrange Shaman because we'll talk about it in a little bit. I didn't know I win any games against Midrange Shaman, and they were just crushing my face, and I was really sad about it. But yeah, I was just playing Midrange Hunter. I think it's a really good deck. I think I wish I had. We'll talk about it later, but I wish I had Dread Scale because that would have really helped. But I didn't. But it's all good. Yeah. Let's talk about any out-of-game Hearthstone activities, or just activities in general this week that are worth mentioning. Let's start with Nate this time.
Didn't do a whole lot, just work, and I saw the Warcraft movie last Friday.
Dope.
I loved it, but I wore rose-colored glasses the entire time, so I'm not very objective in my opinion, but if you like Warcraft or Hearthstone, whatever, go see it. Good movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've only played 20 levels of Hearthstone, and that's just to get Lady Ladrin. Did I say Hearthstone? I only play 20 levels of Warcraft. So I don't know how I'll like the movie, if at all, but I'll probably watch it soon because it looks really good. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think rose-colored glasses is the way to watch that movie. So many people go in trying to hate it, and why would you watch that movie if you didn't want to enjoy it? I mean,
exactly.
We all love Warcraft.
Definitely. What about you, JBilly?
Oh, I'm planning like a Vegas trip with my girlfriend. So this last week's been
Nice.
kind of uneventful, but I've been trying to learn poker because I really want to like play some like sit down hold'em, and I am like such a poker rookie. So I like went to Barnes and Noble and I bought a couple of books, and I've been like trying to like I've been playing with play money, so it's not very
There you
competitive.
go.
But I'm just learning the game.
No worries. Wizard poker, I'm sure it translates over to poker. Uh, but yeah, no worries. And then as for myself, I'm going to be visiting the Hearthstone Spring Championships down in Pasadena. I'll be a tavern patron over there. So I'm really excited for that. But besides that, I've just been playing Midrange Hunter and then spending a lot of time with my girlfriend because it's like after finals and just taking a little break from like everything. But yeah, let's go into the meta report right now. Nate, you want to take us through that real quick?
Sure. So if you watched last week's episode, you'll know that it is the exact same as it has not been updated yet. So again, just to review, number 1 is Aggro Shaman, number 2 Control Warrior, number 3 Tempo Warrior, number 4 is Zoolock, and at tier 2 we have number 5 is Midrange Shaman, and then number 6 is actually Midrange Hunter, according to last week.
I see, I see.
Billy, how do you think that has changed at all this week, if it has at all?
Well, I think one of the biggest things this week is like the rise of Tempo Mage. Like Hot Form just hit rank 1 NA with like a Tempo Mage list playing Acolyte of Pains, and now that deck is just everywhere. And I think it has a pretty good matchup against like Zoo and Shaman, while like not being too much of a dog against Warriors. So I think it's going to be asserting itself into the tier list pretty soon. But this list definitely looks pretty standard. Seeing 2 Warrior decks definitely feels right in the top 1. Warriors just still feel so strong.
Yeah, Warriors have a, and it's really hard to. They feel like the Zoo of like season 1, where when you queue up against them, you don't know if you're playing like Zoolock, Handlock, or like Lock or whatever. So it's hard. It's hard to like like mulligan against them. But alas,
Exactly, yeah. The worst thing is when you like mulligan for control and then it's like Pirate Warrior and
Yeah.
suddenly you're dying real quick.
exactly. No worries. So yeah, let's introduce the deck then. We're talking about JustSaiyan's Midrange Hunter. Let's see. King of Hype 89 was the #1 legend on NA using it last month. So it's obviously a really refined deck. We have it here on the left side. And yeah, what do you guys think about the deck?
Go ahead, Billy.
I really like it. I feel like it's one of those decks that like feels so clunky while you're playing it. Like every turn just feels really weak, and then you kind of like stumble into a Savannah High Main or Call of the Wild, and you just win a game that you usually didn't have much business winning.
Yeah, definitely. No worries.
Let's go over the deck list real quick here.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so I'll just do it real quick. It's 1 tracking, 2 fiery bats, 1 explosive trap, 1 freezing trap, 2 quick shots, 2 huge toads, 2 king's elec, 2 eagle horn bows, 2 animal companions, 1 deadly shot, 2 kill command, 2 unleash the hounds, 1 dread scale, 2 hound masters, 1 infested wolf, 2 stampeding kodo, 6 Savannah High Main, or excuse me, 2 Savannah High Main, and then 2 Call of the Wilds.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's a really fun deck. I actually did alright with it. I went, I had like a 60% win rate. I went like 12-8. It's really good. I've won all the Hunter mirror matchups, beat all the Druids, 50-50 Warlock, beat all the Rogues, and then I lost terribly to Shamans. I didn't win a single game against them. I lost to Warriors, and then Paladins are a toss-up, and I lost to Freeze Mage. What about you, Nate?
I did not do very well either. I played in mostly the 9-4 rankings with it. I didn't play it exclusively, but I played 28 games that I had tracked, so I went 16-12 at a 57.1 win percentage. I was 3-0 against Warrior, 2-0 against Paladin, 2-0 against Mage, 3-2 against Warlock, 4-4 against Hunter, which was by far the class that I played the most against. So a lot of people are playing this deck. 2-2 against Rogue, 0-3 against Shaman, and 0-1 against Priest with no Druid games. How about you, Billy?
Let's see. Well, I didn't keep any stats from in May where I played a lot of games, but I just played like a little 10-game streak with it. I went 5-5 at rank 4, but I started at 4-1, and then I kind of fell apart. So it can be a very matchup dependent deck. It's one of those decks that's about as good as the meta allows for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like a lot of us I mean, I know for me, I went like 7-0. I was like on fire. Like I love this deck, and then I lost like terribly. And it looks like since Nate went like around 50%-ish win rate, then you must have gone on a ton of like streaks too. So I think it's a good deck. You just have to figure out like when to play it exactly because the meta changes like per hour. But
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go over the overview. How should we be playing this deck? Let's start with Billy.
So I usually like to play this deck like just really trying to like get any kind of early game possible. Like your creatures already aren't very strong, so it's like really important to land like 2-drop, 3-drop. And if you can kind of curve out organically, like really all you need to do is not die before you get to play kind of the overpowered cards in Savannah Highmane and Call of the Wild. Like the games where you solve Call of the Wild, you're almost always a favorite to win. But it just can be hard to get to that point since the rest of your cards aren't that strong.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds about right. For the most part, I think after that you're trying to control the board, and yeah, that's exactly it. Cool. So then let's talk about matchups. What's this deck good against? Let's start with Nate.
Yeah, so I find it to be really good against any warrior archetype. Not so much against pirate warrior because I'd say it's 50-50, just because they can get such a fast start that you can't recover, but anything else that's a little bit slower, like Tempo Warrior or Control Warrior, or even Cthulhu Warrior, I feel it has like a 70-30 or so. In my experience, I was 3-0 against it myself, but pretty good. Are there any bad matchups that you feel like there are, JBillyB?
I think the worst matchups are kind of the ones like Zoo, Shaman, decks that are just really fast. You're playing so much hate against them that you would think that you might be able to like salvage them, but even if you like find a couple of pieces of that hate, like they can still just kind of kill you. Like the deck is very vulnerable and clunky. If you get kind of a bad mulligan, sometimes you like don't really have much of a play till like turn 3, and Zoo and Shaman prey on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's really, I don't know how to explain it. Like you kind of just find an opening if you can last to like turn 6 or turn 8. If you do, it's like really strong. Yeah, if not, then you're trying to like claw your way back into the game, and it's like, and the Unleash the Hounds isn't like enough. So
yeah, I think I was saying before the show, I feel like you really need to find like 2 out of 3 of like the 2 Unleash the Hounds or Dread Scales to like really have a strong chance in like the Zoo matchup. And if you only find one, they can usually like rebound and just overrun you.
Definitely. No worries. Alright, so let's talk about individual cards that kind of stand out to us. We actually have... Let's talk about one real quick. Tracking, 77 Die Hero asked us about it. So which one do you guys want to tackle tracking real quick?
Oh man, if I could, I feel like tracking is one of like the most misused cards in the game. Like tracking drives me crazy because a lot of people, you'll see them play it on turn 1, which is one of like the biggest mistakes you can make in Hearthstone. Just because you never really know how the game's going to unfold on turn 1. You don't know exactly what you're looking for, and even if your hand is terrible, you usually like if you're using the tracking, you might like you still might not find something to salvage the hand, while in the late game, like you're really going to need to find like either a piece of removal or a threat. Just tracking has so much more flexibility later in the game, and so I tend to be very conservative with it.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why we have tracking in the deck. I know we only have 1. I used 2 to start, but then I actually really liked having Fiery Bats. So those are really strong. You guys want to talk about Dreadscale next, Nate?
Yeah, so I didn't actually use Dreadscale because I disenchanted them a couple weeks ago. But when I did use Dreadscale a while back, pre-standard, and I definitely noticed that he was good at getting rid of early tempo. He's especially good against Warlock with all the 1-butt minions. So he's definitely a good card. He's sort of like a pseudo Unleash the Hounds, if you will. So definitely a good card to include if you're facing a lot of aggro.
But I do want to note too, there's like a really good player that just posted a Midrange Hunter guide on Reddit. He hit like top 10 legend before, and he's playing this deck, but subbing out Dreadscale for like a singleton Tundra Rhino. So it definitely isn't necessary if you don't have the card. There's like ways to build around it and still have a lot of power. Yeah,
speaking of Tundra Rhino, I actually misread the deck the first time. I put in 2 Tundra Rhinos instead of Stampede and Kodos, and it actually won me like 2 games. I was like, oh look, it's a Tundra Rhino, and then I started like charging in and like doing tons of damage. So definitely super valuable to put in this. I actually switched to like one Stampeding Kodo and one Tundra Rhino, and then like because it's so clunky sometimes this deck. Like we already talked about that, but yeah, that definitely works for sure. And then I actually want to talk about Deadly Shot too. Deadly Shot is so useful. Oh my god, I want to run 2 so badly, but there's like no space in this deck to run 2. Like it's already clunky enough as it is, but when you get that Deadly Shot off, oh my god, it feels so good. Like if you're playing against like Zoo, you get rid of those like 8/8 giants. I've gotten rid of like Cthuns. I've gotten rid of like just like tons of things that like you have no way to no way to deal with. So Deadly Shot is super useful.
Oh yeah, and Shamans like Flame Wreath Faceless. It's just like the most feel good play.
It's like it feels super good. And then let's talk about cards that don't do really well against us. So Doomsayer. I hate Doomsayer against this deck. But do you guys have anything to comment on Doomsayers?
You know, there's actually a way to kind of turn those Doomsayers to your advantage with this deck. Like, I actually met Nate because I was playing Doomsayers myself in like a Midrange Hunter version like a few weeks ago, I guess like 3 or 4. Doomsayers, like because your cards like scale really well towards the late game, you don't always want to be playing your cards early. So if they play a Doomsayer, sometimes that sets up for you to have a turn to play like 2 2-drops, and then suddenly you flooded the board again. It demands like another board wipe. But it can be really annoying if they have like the perfect curve and all the removal behind the Doomsayer.
Yeah.
You do lose those games.
That like totally sucks. And I see we want to talk about Carrion Grub here. So Nate, do you want to take on Carrion Grub?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a slower card. It's good because on turn 3 you can play it, then on turn 4 you can Houndmaster it, and then you get a 4/7 taunt. So it has a big butt, so it can be good against aggro. Nothing fancy about it, just a 2/5 body, and it's also a beast, so synergize as well.
Yeah, I kind of use it as like, of course, the next animal companion. It's like the 4th animal companion, if you will. But yeah.
Yeah, it's actually like surprisingly good against like Zoo and Shamans because like just the 5 health is so annoying for them. Sometimes they start trying to trade into it, and then they don't really put pressure on you.
Yeah, so super useful. And then let's talk about Strangletorn Tiger. I think it's really useful. I played it, and then you can enable like a bunch of other stuff, like your kill commands. It's really good with Houndmaster. I think it's a good alternative if you don't have other cards. But I definitely ran it in mine. I ran 1. It was really useful. So yeah, did you use it?
Yeah.
Nate? Or
I did not. I just was watching the EU finals this weekend, and I noticed that Tyson was actually running 2. And I think, kind of like Billy mentioned pre-show, is that it was good against not having your turn 5 minion hexed. It's also good against rogues, so they can't sap your creature either.
And then, sorry, Billy, I just totally cut you off. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Well, yeah, like just rogues are one of those matchups that can like be surprisingly bad for this deck because you're like so clunky. Strangletorn Tiger is actually a really good solution to that because like Savannah Highmane is probably the worst card in your deck against rogues, while Strangletorn Tiger becomes one of the best cards in your deck since it pairs so well with Call of the Wild.
Yeah, so I see if you're running into rogues, you want to sub out maybe 1 or 2 Savannah Highmanes for Strangletorn Tiger, or just like finagle with that, I guess. So yeah, that's really cool. And then I know both of you guys really want to talk about Desert Camel because that's been coming up. So Billy, go ahead and start on Desert Camel.
Oh, well, you can see like I streamed for a couple of hours with it like last like Thursday, I think, and I really didn't like it on the ladder. I just kept on. I think I played against like 5 Shamans over like a 7-game stretch, and just like Desert Camel was not good in that matchup. But it's a really strong tournament deck because if you go in with the strategy to ban Shamans, then suddenly your worst matchup you don't have to worry about. And the Desert Camel gets just a ton of value over like a best of 5, even a best of 3. It's still not too bad.
Definitely. No worries. Yeah, definitely a really strong card. We'll have to play around with that. But no worries. Let's talk about starting hands, so mulligans. Nate, do you want to take the control mulligan? And then Billy, we'll talk about the aggro mulligan. So, Billy, what are we looking for against aggro decks?
So against aggro decks, it's just really important that you kind of match their 1s and 2-drops with your own. Even though they're usually going to get like the value trades, you just kind of need to have minions on the board so that they're not hitting your face and putting you under pressure. So you need to find your 1-drops, Fiery Bats, your 2-drops, King's Elect, Huge Toad, Quick shot is also really important. It's worth keeping. And if you already have one of those, or two of those, you can keep like an Eagle Horn Bow or an Unleash the Hounds, but I usually wouldn't keep the 3-drop unless I already had probably 2 of the 1s and 2 drops.
Yeah, King's Elect. Fun fact, I only got like 3 draws with that card out of like 20 games. I think I played it like twice almost every game. And so there's like 40 King's Elect, and I got like 3 drops. So like, yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like a user error.
Yeah, seems like seems like my fault. But no worries. Let's talk about the control mulligan. Nate, you want to take that?
Yeah, definitely. So against control, you're looking for 2 drops again as well. So Huge Toad and King's Elec. I don't know how the exact pronunciation, but yeah, so that is good for drawing other creatures such as Savannah. And then Deadly Shot is another good one. And it's really good against Miracle Rogue. So when they put down their Gadgetzan Auctioneer, you can snipe it even with stealth. Savannah Hyman is super good against Warrior. That's pretty much the main reason this deck is successful, in my opinion, against all the Warrior classes. And then Infested Wolf is another good one, just because it's sticky as well.
Yeah.
So any of those Death Rattle minions that spawn other minions are going to be really good against other control decks.
Yeah, like Infested Wolf, I think replaces what's that 4/2 mech that we?
Piloted Shredder.
Yeah, it's basically piloted Shredder, but you know what you're getting. You get 2 spiders, but it's really strong. I feel like because all the other classes lost the piloted Shredder, and it was like a huge staple card. So now we have Infested Wolf for hunters at least.
Yeah, and if you happen to be playing, if you're playing Tundra Rhino too, Infested Wolf gets even more valuable because you can suddenly get like 5 power out of it the turn you're playing Tundra Rhino.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, that's definitely something I use to like clear the board and like go face and stuff like that. So Tundra Rhino is super useful in this deck. Definitely look at maybe subbing that in for a Stampeding Kodo if you feel like your deck's a little clunky. But yeah, that's about it for the mid-range Just Saiyan Hunter deck. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to our podcast /stream /YouTube videos. If you want to download our podcast, it'll be over at metameltdown.com. Thank you. Shout out to Ritual Plays, our usual moderator on the Twitch site, and JBillyB. Where can people find you?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at EGRJBillyB, and you can also follow me on Twitch at JBillyBTV. I'm hoping to stream a little bit more later tonight, probably around like 9 p.m. Pacific.
Dope, sounds good. Check him out in an hour and a half. He'll be excellent, killing it. Do you know what decks you're going to be playing over on your stream?
Yeah, I'm most likely going to be playing some Tempo Mage. I might be playing a little bit of Midrange Shaman, or Hybrid Shaman, and probably some Midrange Hunter. I'm like 10 wins away from like a Gold Hunter, so
nice.
I'm kind of close to doing it.
Sounds good. That'd be really cool to see. Yeah, take this deck to Golden, so that'd be nice. And then actually next week we're gonna talk about Cthulhu Druid. So I'm really excited about this because I did not win a single game against Cthulhu Druid when I played N'Zoth Priest. So finally gonna see how well this deck does. And I'm super excited about that. And maybe we'll have Billy play Cthulhu Druid, and maybe he'll join us next week. We'll see. Is there anything else you want to go over, Nate, before I do our last promotions?
That about does it. BillyB, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out to Team Eager and Eager World. It's awesome that they're taking a chance on me. I'm hoping I can win a lot of tournaments for them. The Hearthstone team is going to be growing a little bit over the next couple of months, so I'm just excited to grow with them.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely. I'll let you know if we have tournaments out in SoCal if you want to come over and play for us. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, if you want to check us out on Twitter, we're at the Meta Meltdown. Our YouTube is Meta Meltdown, and our email is metameltdownpodcast@gmail.com. Tune in next week. We'll talk about Cthulhu Druid, like I said. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. See you guys next week.
Alright, guys.
Have a good one.